Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, where do we even begin with the massive mess brewing over in Port Charles? Watching these folks navigate their complicated lives is always an adventure. And just when you think you have seen it all, somebody goes and does something that makes your jaw drop. Right now, my heart is pounding thinking about the storm heading straight for Willow and Nina. These two women have had such a long, rocky road. From the heartbreak of not knowing they were mother and daughter to all the bitter fights that followed, they have finally been trying to find some common ground. But heavens to Betsy, trouble just seems to follow them around like a dark cloud. And this time, it comes in the form of a young woman named Jacinda Bracken. Now, let us talk about Jacinda for a minute, because she is stirring up a pot of trouble that is about to boil over. I have to be sincere with you. I never quite trusted that girl's intentions from the start. She has been buzzing around Michael and the family like a moth to a flame, and we all know that when you play with fire, you are bound to get burned. Jacinda has been trying so hard to cement her place in Michael's life, but she has been going about it all wrong. She has let her jealousy and deep-seated insecurities cloud her judgment. Instead of trying to build a genuine connection, she has been trying to tear down the people Michael cares about, specifically Willow. You do not mess with a mother's cubs without facing the wrath of the whole family. Willow is such a sweet girl, bless her heart, and she has been through the ringer over the years. She has faced so many personal tragedies and fought tooth and nail for the safety of her family. Recently, she even secured a seat on the General Hospital Board of Directors, taking on new responsibilities. But Willow has also been trying to protect her peace at home. So, when she saw Jacinda overstepping her bounds and acting entirely inappropriately around her precious children, Wiley and Amelia, Willow did exactly what any good protective mother would do. She put her foot down firmly. She went right ahead and got a legal restraining order to keep Jacinda far away from those sweet babies. I just have to applaud Willow for taking that brave step. It takes a whole lot of courage to stand up and decide that you will not allow toxic energy around your children. But unfortunately, that restraining order seems to have pushed Jacinda right over the edge of reason. Instead of taking a step back and realizing she was in the wrong, Jacinda decided to double down on her bad behavior. She felt backed into a corner, and in her twisted state of mind, she decided that the only way out was to take Willow down completely. The way she went about it is just so cowardly and dangerous, it makes my blood boil just thinking about the absolute harm she is willing to cause. Let me paint the picture for you, because what happens on that August 6th episode is just a recipe for absolute disaster. Imagine a busy, chaotic day where everyone is rushing around, and there are two simple cups of iced coffee sitting right next to each other on a counter. One belongs to Willow and the other belongs to Nina. It is such an everyday, normal scene that you would never look twice at it. But Jacinda, sneaking around like a fox in the henhouse, decides this is her golden opportunity to strike. She slips a powerful, dangerous drug right into the cup with Willow's name on it. She just walks away, thinking she has set the perfect trap to make Willow look unstable, hoping it will ruin Willow's reputation and destroy her life. But here's the thing about best laid plans, especially in a town like Port Charles. They never, ever go the way you think they will. Jacinda made one massive, glaring mistake in her wicked little scheme. She assumed that just because a name is written on a cup, that is definitely the person who will drink it. But we all know from our own lives how incredibly easy it is to grab the wrong drink when you are deep in conversation or just distracted by the day's worries. Nina and Willow have been spending more time together lately, trying to mend their fragile relationship and build some trust. They are talking, they are distracted, and those two iced coffees are sitting right there, looking exactly alike. It is the absolute perfect setup for a tragic mix-up. I can just see it happening in my mind's eye, and it makes my stomach tie up in terrible knots. Nina, who has been doing so well lately, strategizing with her new confidant, Jack Brennan, and finally opening her heart to some new positive possibilities, reaches out and takes a sip from the wrong cup. She has absolutely no idea that she is swallowing a dangerous drug meant to incapacitate her own daughter. It is just heartbreaking, really. Nina has fought so incredibly hard to find stability in her life and to earn her rightful place in Willow's world. To think that she is going to be the one to suffer because of Jacinda's reckless, hateful actions is just plain wrong and deeply unfair. And let us take a moment to talk about the sheer, terrifying danger of what Jacinda did. It is not just about Nina or Willow getting hurt, which is awful enough on its own. What if one of the children had gotten a hold of that cup? Little Wiley or sweet Amelia could have easily wandered over and taken a sip of that iced coffee. The very thought of those innocent babies ingesting a strong drug just sends cold shivers down my spine. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Willow was absolutely right to get that restraining order in the first place. Jacinda is not just a nuisance. She is a genuine threat to the safety of that entire family. She is acting without any regard for human life. Once that drug hits Nina's system, oh boy, we are in for a wild and scary ride. We do not know exactly what kind of heavy medication Jacinda used, but we know it is meant to knock Willow completely off her feet. When it hits Nina, it is going to cause her to lose control of her body and her mind. She might become confused, erratic, or even pass out right there on the floor. People around her are going to be so frightened, not knowing what on earth is happening to her or how to help. And the deepest tragedy of it all is that Nina will have no idea why her body is betraying her. She will just be swept up in this terrifying experience, completely innocent and incredibly vulnerable. But you know Willow. She is a remarkably smart and observant young woman. When she sees her mother acting strangely, she is not just going to brush it off as a bad day. At first, you might be confused, wondering if Nina's coming down with an illness or if the stress of life is finally getting to her. But then the pieces are going to start falling into place in Willow's mind. Willow knows Jacinda has it out for her. She knows Jacinda is desperate, angry, and vindictive about the restraining order. It will not take long for Willow to connect the dots and realize that Nina has become the accidental victim of a cruel trap meant for her. I am just eagerly waiting for the moment Michael finds out about all of this madness. Michael Corinthos is a man who values his family above everything else in this world. He has been trying to navigate this tricky situation, maybe giving Jacinda the benefit of the doubt at times, but this is going to be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. When he learns that Jacinda stooped so incredibly low as to drug a drink in a place where his children could have easily gotten to it, he is going to see red. Michael will not tolerate anyone putting his kids in harm's way, not for a single second. He is going to drop Jacinda so fast, it will make her head spin right around. And honestly, losing Michael's affection is going to be the absolute least of Jacinda's worries when the dust finally settles on this disaster. She has dug herself a hole so deep, she will need a ladder just to see the sun again. Think about her job and her livelihood. Nina is certainly not going to stand for this. Once Nina recovers from this awful ordeal and finds out that Jacinda is the one who poisoned her, she is going to fire her on the spot without a second thought. Jacinda will be completely blacklisted. She will not be able to find work anywhere near Port Charles ever again. And frankly, she deserves every bit of that professional ruin. You simply cannot go around slipping drugs into people's drinks and expect to just walk away with a gentle slap on the wrist. Actions have real heavy consequences, and Jacinda's are coming for her like a runaway freight train. In fact, I would not be surprised at all if Jacinda ends up facing some very serious criminal charges over this whole ordeal. Drugging someone without their knowledge or consent is a severe crime, and the local police will absolutely have to get involved to investigate. Jacinda might realize that the walls are closing in on her rapidly and try to skip town before the handcuffs come out. She seems exactly like the type to run away when the kitchen gets too hot. This whole situation with the switch drinks is a classic soap opera twist, but it feels so incredibly real and so grounded in the deep emotions of these characters. It is a story about a mother's strong intuition, a family's fierce protective instinct, and the tragic, sweeping consequences of unchecked jealousy. As we look ahead to these upcoming episodes, my heart is just full of anticipation and hope. I am praying that Nina comes out of this terrifying experience, okay? And that this crisis might actually bring her and Willow closer together in the end. We will get through all this heavy drama together, one cup of coffee at a time, but just make sure you always know exactly what is in yours.